There's a revolution underway in terms of RV sanitation and how we handle our waste when we're out on the road. I'm specifically talking here about Thetford's brand new iNDUS wastewater management system, and I'm standing here with Mariska at the Caravan Industry Victoria trade show to find out a little bit more about this fantastic system. Mariska, this is really quite unique. We haven't seen anything quite like this before.
No, that's right. We haven't. It's unique in its own way. It actually uses wastewater to flush your toilet. It's designed in such a way that you can actually stay off-grid for a longer period of time. You don't have that walk of shame on the campsite with your cassette. It's revolutionary.
We've got a couple of separate tanks, don't we? We've got a separate black water tank where the waste is held, and that's mounted up under the chassis. And there's also a separate grey water tank that collects your grey water from your van, and that water is then used to flush out the black water tank.
Exactly right. And that's the bit that is so revolutionary, because we are using that specific grey water to flush the toilet, so you don't have to use your fresh water, so you're safe on water.
But what happens if I don't have any grey water left in that grey water tank?
Easy. The toilet knows to use the fresh water to flush the toilet.
How long before you have to empty that black water tank?
It can give you up to 7 days or longer even, depending on how much water you use, obviously, and how quickly you fill it up. But it's a longer period that you can be off-grid than what you would have with a cassette. A cassette normally needs to be emptied around 3, 4, 5 days. With this unique system, you'll get a way longer period of time that you can stay off-grid. In the case that you are off-grid and the tank is full, we've got a separate cassette that you can fill up, and that gives you another couple of days longer to stay off-grid.
So if the black water tank's full and you don't have a dump point anywhere handy, you can then divert the waste into a separate holding tank, keep it all nice and clean and hygienic, store it wherever, and empty it when it's convenient.
Correct.
So one thing that occurs to me straight away is that having the separate black water tank mounted up under the chassis, all the odours are well and truly contained as well.
Absolutely. And because of the additives used, that will help with that process as well.
So speaking of additives, now it's all a self-dosing module, am I right?
Correct. The system is completely self-sufficient. It's a smart system, so it knows exactly how much to dose for the flush, for the grey water, as well as the black water.
How often would you have to check on the additives? Like a couple of weeks?
It probably lasts you a couple of weeks, indeed, but there is an app, and the app will tell you exactly how much chemicals you have left and when you need to start ordering new chemicals or additives.
So the iNDUS wastewater management system has been rolled out to the motorhome market here in Australia. Are we going to see a system along these lines for caravans?
Well, I've got a scoop for you. We are developing at the moment an iNDUS caravan version, and we are planning to launch it at the Düsseldorf Salon in Germany later this year.
You heard it here first, folks. Thetford is going to be launching a new and revolutionary way to handle your wastewater, your black water when you're out on the road in a caravan. That is an absolute game changer, because let's face it, the toilet cassettes, they've held us in good stead for decades, but it's long been time for an update. I think that's fantastic news.
This is the iNDUS toilet, a modern slimline design freestanding toilet. It has a soft closing lid. When you flush it, you've got the option to choose a big flush or a small flush, depending on your number 1 or your number 2. When you flush it, the water pulsates through. The system will automatically know how much of the additives it needs to use. The macerator makes sure that all the waste will go down properly into the black water tank. And 4 times a day, the system will automatically mix the waste in the tanks itself as well. You can manage this all through the app yourself, so it doesn't mix it through the night. That's it for the toilet. Let's go and have a look at the additive system as well as the discharge module.
What happens if we need to access the grey and black water tanks for servicing or anything like that?
The way it's been built in is specifically in this model van, it's been built under the bed. So you lift up the bed, there is a hatch, and that will give you access to all the pumps, hoses, mixer, everything that belongs to the tank itself.
Oh, that's
so for
brilliant.
servicing purposes, it's easy accessible.
Now, we are at an industry trade show, so there's a bit of background noise. However, we won't let that stop us. Instead, we're going to look at the additives. Mariska, what's going on here?
Well, the additives are built in here. So this is the additive module with the additives for the grey water, the flush water, and the black water. Automatically dosing the cartridges. Once they are empty, you swap them in and out and replace them. Yeah, so the system will get to know you and your behavior and your way of using the toilets. And that's how it calculates how much it needs, even how long you still have left going off grid as well.
Does it take into account the ambient temperature?
It does. It's the ambient temperature, the flush that you use, if it's the big flush or the small flush, and all those things are taken into account, and the system knows it all.
So that's the additives. Mariska, can we see how the black water tank empties?
Absolutely.
So when it's time to empty the black tank, it's really just a case of pulling your van up alongside an appropriate dump point. We open up this locker,
Yep.
and then what, Mariska?
We'll take it out. This is your discharge module. It rolls out. You'll put it onto your dump point, lock it in to open the valve and so it can go out. And then there's a button here that you press and it will start flowing out when you just step away.
Step back and
Let the magic happen. Of course, if you have to use the cassette to get rid of some of your black water, you can use the discharge module on top of the cassette. You press the button to start discharging. Because it's only a 19-litre tank, you need to make sure that you stop it manually yourself again and avoid overflowing. This is the float that will indicate when the cassette is full and that you can stop the discharge. It will turn into the red when it's full. So with the iNDUS app, you actually have a full management of what the system does. You can see how much grey water you have, how much black water there is. It even calculates how many days off grid you still have left off. The cartridge levels are shown, and to make your life easier, there is a locations feature as well that will find you the nearest dump point. In the settings, you can actually manage how much water you want to use for each flush, for the small one, the big one, if you want to have it pulsating, etc. Also, you can actually adjust the times when the mixer needs to be switched on. So you can actually switch it off during the night so it doesn't wake you up.
So obviously, Mariska, this plastic container here represents a dump point. We've seen how quickly and efficiently it would empty into the dump point. How big is the black water tank? What's the size capacity?
The black water tank is 45 litres, so that's more than double what you normally would have from a cassette. The grey water one is 90 litres capacity.
And I like the fact that at no stage do you even have to see what's going into the dump
Exactly,
point.
that's the beauty of it.
And it's clean too. There's going to be no splashback. There's going to be, as you said, no walk of shame. And obviously that additional storage container that we saw, that's a useful accessory as well.
Exactly, it will just free up your time to stay off grid for a longer period.
At the end of the day, the iNDUS wastewater management system takes the hard work out of RV sanitation. It's clean, it's efficient, and you don't have to see or smell anything.
Correct.